fast, and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck. 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
2 Men in a Truck.
Now you did it. Are you completely insane? He's back. He, who must not be named. The man, the myth. The only guy in Ocala to eat his own weight in fried pickles. Twice. Now, you asked for it. Sorta. Live and in person. It's Tom Schmitz.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Tuesday morning as the rain holds off. Two men with connections to the guy who creates all the rain. Dr. Hal McSwain of the First Congregation United Church of Christ and Rabbi Zev Harari of Temple Beth Shalom join us in studio. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Wonder why. There we go. That's a little better volume. If you'll lean in a little closer, Rabbi, to that microphone. Everybody wants to hear you really well on the radio.
Okay.
This is a very unique thing you guys are doing. I guess it's happened a couple times before, but you're bringing two denominations of worshipers of the Lord God under one roof. Tell us about that.
Well, it's not denominations; it's two different.
It's two different religions. Yeah,
religious
exactly.
traditions,
Not
yeah.
not denominations. Two different religions under the same roof, but operating in two different congregations.
That's right. And however, there are many things that we're going to share. For example, we're going to share classrooms, social hall, parts of the kitchen, and our administrative services will all be shared.
Rabbi, how did this come about? How did this idea come together?
Well, it came together for two reasons. One is the practical. The practical meaning that we're looking for a different building than the current one, and at the same time the church was looking for a new building, a new location, and to make it economically easier for the two. This was part of the decision. The other one is ideological. The ideological reason is that we are for dialogue, so that people will get to know the other, and getting to know the other means that you have to compromise. You have to realize that yours is one way, but it doesn't mean that it's the only way. And this is what's behind it, to open minds and to open hearts.
Dr. McSwain, is this something that was a long time in the making, or was it something that there was an economical issue that you both were looking for better? You got talking with the rabbi, and you said, not only does this make sense economically, but it does open up dialogue, and it makes sense. Because to me, it would make more sense opening up dialogue between two different religions. I know the economics of it makes sense, but it makes amazing amount of sense to me to have the dialogue between two different religions so we can learn about two different religions and learn how we can help and support each other.
Well, Rabbi Harari and I have been colleagues for, I think we're coming up on
10 years.
About 10 years.
10 years.
Working in interfaith. We're sort of like the usual suspects when people
Right.
when people want to talk about interfaith matters. And purely by serendipity, by some measures, we had an idea, and it kept unfolding over time. And Rabbi, talk a bit about the notion of tikkun olam,
Well,
where that plays in our discussion.
Term tikkun olam is in Hebrew, and it means repair of the world. And this is a major component of Judaism, especially in Kabbalah, but we are not Kabbalistic, we are not mysticists, but we see a lot of things in our world that need repair. And without human intervention, these things are not going to repair themselves. And I'm talking about unjust things that we all see around us everywhere you go. Not only here, not only in Ocala, but also in the entire country and in the entire world. The world is in need of repair.
Right. Not only do we want to build those kinds of repairing relationships between our two congregations, we see this as a way of modeling how people are able to get together and repair themselves.
You know, it couldn't come at a better time. I'll be honest with you. As a practicing Catholic, we talk about this at church all the time, that the senselessness that's going on in the world and the ungodliness that's going on in the world. I mean, let's take for this weekend. 8 different mass shootings in 6 different states.
Yes.
Children killed, 18-month-old killed, 3-year-old killed,
Right.
4-year-old critically injured. Yeah. I promise you the 18-month-old, the 3-year-old, the 4-year-old did nothing to deserve the outcomes of the lawlessness and godlessness that took place over the weekend, and that's got to change.
Right, and it's not going to change by itself. But there's not going to be some divine thump on the head, some divine corrective. God is going to have to work through us as men, women, and children, youth, to repair these wounds and the woundedness, and the fact that the woundedness, in my view, is perpetuating itself.
It's definitely perpetuating itself on a daily basis, Rabbi.
Well, it is a problem. It is an ideological problem, and it's a fascination that Americans have with guns and gun culture. And I come from a country that guns are very prevalent, but you would never see anyone coming and shooting indiscriminately.
No.
I've never seen it happen in my country of origin in Israel. Never. But people here must understand that with the freedom of owning a gun, there must be a very strong measure of responsibility. And you're responsible for human lives because the fact is that guns don't cook pizza.
No.
Guns kill. Guns are dangerous.
And I think another aspect of that is what I've observed, say, through the pandemic. Had a member of our church, we stayed closed during the vast portion of the pandemic to this point. A person, and when we decided to get back together, we insisted on the use of masks and safety precautions. And the response was, "You can't tell me what to do. I have a right not to wear a mask, and I'm not coming to church. And if I have to wear a mask." I understand that person's desire to have her rights defended, but at the same time, with firearms, there's a responsibility that goes along with it.
There definitely is. It brings one to think that we forgot that we're our brother's keepers. It brings one to think that we forgot what it was that built this country and the way this country was designed, the way it was done, and that we've almost come to a point now where people have no regard for life anymore. And when you have a disregard for life, I don't care whether you're using a gun, you're using a car, you're using a suicide bomber. Once you have a disregard for life.
And consider that we are the facility that's going to house our two communities of faith is called Tree of Life.
Yeah.
Tree of Life. And there's a biblical basis both in the Hebrew scriptures and in the Christian scriptures for the use of that term, the Tree of Jesse, for example, the tree in the creation myth, things like that. And we clearly see ourselves part of the Abrahamic tradition and honor each other's take. You know, there's more than one route to get to Georgia.
Yeah. More than one way. If I told you that I wanted to go to Statesboro, which is where I'm from,
Yeah.
I can go 301, I can go 9516, I can go a lot of different ways. I can go 121 up through McClenny.
That's right.
So you're right. There's a lot of different ways to get to the promised land.
Is that Statesboro?
Well, Coach Russell, when I played football, he said if you listen to your mom and daddy and you say your prayers and do everything in life right, when you die, you go to Statesboro. So, but your point is well taken. There is more than one route to the promise of the promise of life and God protecting us all. There's more than one way to get there, and the two of you bringing two different ways under the same roof and working as not you're two different religions, but you're working in concert with each other. That kudos to both of you and to your congregations for not only doing it, but making it so that it's an example for other denominations and other religions to show that we don't always have to be at angst with each other.
Right.
We're in this together, for better or for worse. We're all, as a world, as a nation, as a state, as a county, as a city, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And what is important is that not any one particular religion is the right one or the correct one, and all the others are not. Because when you talk about faith and you talk about religious belief, you talk about things that you cannot prove.
Yeah, faith is very powerful,
Faith,
but it's not something I can hold in my hand and you can see it.
faith begins at the point that you cannot say, I know.
Right.
You can say, I believe.
I have
but
faith
you
in
cannot-
it.
Yes, I have faith in it, but you cannot prove it scientifically.
No.
You know, there was a world-renowned former Roman Catholic priest, Matthew Fox, who encouraged his readers and those who listened to him to substitute the word trust for the word faith, so that you trust that as contrasted with have faith in. And that's a real gem of wisdom. I trust that our liaison with Temple Beth Shalom will serve us both. I don't have faith in that event. I trust that what we're going to do is going to be good.
I had in college, I had a friend of mine, Ryan Eisenberg, who is to this day a practicing of the Jewish faith, and we were very good friends. And he bailed me out of a conversation one time in the best way that I could think, because we were talking about, somehow we were in the fraternity house and we were talking about religion, which college guys shouldn't do sitting in a fraternity house, but we were. And it came up that, well, you're Catholic, you're part of a cult because you asked Mary to pray for you. And Ryan looked at the guy and goes, who are you to judge whether he's doing it right or wrong, or I'm doing it right or wrong? The only person that gets that ultimate judgment is God. We all go about our different ways of our faith, and on Judgment Day, we'll learn who's right, who's wrong, or we all may be right, or we all may be wrong. But we have to have faith in that day is coming, and that God is the ultimate judge. And that's what's happening here. That's what you guys are doing.
It may not be Statesboro. It
It may be.
It may be Poughkeepsie.
It may be Poughkeepsie. You're right. I'm okay with Poughkeepsie. just don't make it Chicago.
No.
I lived in Chicago.
No, I
for
said that. My
years,
fiance.
and I love Chicago.
My fiance's from Chicago, so I just said that as a little jab at her.
It may even
When-
be Jerusalem.
When does this? When do the two congregations are going to be under one roof, or has that already happened?
Well, we're in the process of building the structure now. It's under construction over on 80th, just off 80th. That's not the precise address. But right across the road from the entrance to Stone Creek. That's where
Okay.
it's going to be. And this week they're putting the roof on it. And so we're expecting to be in the building sometime between Thanksgiving and Christmas. If all things go well.
That's a perfect time to get into the church, is between what we deem as a holiday Thanksgiving and then what some of the world deems as the Christian world deems as a holiday Christmas.
Yeah, and Hanukkah. And
Hanukkah, pretty.
Festival of
I
Lights.
like that.
Well, Hanukkah, the word Hanukkah means dedication. So you dedicate a new building.
There you go.
There they dedicated the altar.
How big are the congregations of the two churches?
Well, the
Synagogue and church.
Synagogue and church. that's
Synagogue
right.
and church.
Yeah.
I make that mistake from.
I do it all the time.
Yeah.
we are not big congregations, not very large congregations, and we do hope to grow, and we hope to attract people of all ages. It is not coincidental that it is being built near or in the area that the developer is building a new section called Kalesa, and it's going to be for young family with children, as well as attracting people from on top of the world and Stone Creek, the elder population.
Robert Colon will be here tomorrow from On Top of the World, and he'll talk about Calessa tomorrow. We know there's a natatorium going in there, a charter school going in there, going to be a great development. And are you guys going to be open to anybody, if, say, people are at the WEC for a horse show or something, they're practicing of the Jewish faith, or they're practicing Christians, they'll be invited in as visitors and everything?
Absolutely. And I should make this strong point. Our church, our church is part of the denomination called the United Church of Christ, and we are an open and affirming church, meaning that we welcome people of all ages, races, genders, sexual orientations, financial status, and we find that a kinship with Temple Beth Shalom that we don't always find with other denominations, Christian denominations.
That's where sometimes I steer away from the faith that I've been practicing all my life, because I'm a practicing Catholic. Sometimes we're not as inclusive as we need to be, and I just refer back to the Bible says I'm not the judge, God is. And so I take all people as people, and I'll let the Creator decide who's right, who's wrong, who did good, who did bad. He makes those decisions. I'm not a judge, never want to be. So I like that you're all inclusive, and you have no hang-ups about who can attend. That's really, really a good thing.
Well, as a matter of fact, we also have a number of families in our synagogue who are in interfaith marriages. So it's not a foreign concept for us to be in an interfaith relationship with the church.
Will there be opportunities at both church, at the synagogue and the church? Will there be opportunities for people who may not be familiar with either faith, that they can come in and through classes or through seminars or something, learn more about both faiths?
Absolutely. The word rabbi, he's a teacher.
Yeah.
And I've been taught on the graduate and undergraduate levels, and we're both teachers. Our responsibility is not to proselytize, but to inform, to educate, and to welcome people into. I'll take knowledge any way I can get it.
I think sometimes that's lost these days, is that in your position as a rabbi, in your position as a minister, that you're there to explain to us the books of faith in ways that we may not be able to grasp. And that's why you both do what you do, is to help us understand those things which we can't prove scientifically, but we need to understand how our faith can wrap around them. Right. And I think that's a lost art sometimes, and people don't realize when a minister or a rabbi or a priest is giving you an explanation of the scriptures they've read to you, it's a teaching moment. They're not trying to say, take it this way. They're giving you options in a teaching moment to try to make things you don't understand a little more clear.
I'll give you an example. I once gave a talk here sponsored by the Interfaith Alliance of Ocala, and the topic was, what happens after I die? And the place was packed. There were a few hundred people there. And I started by saying, you all came to listen, what happens after I die? And the first and foremost thing is, I don't know. The stress was on the word no. And then I talked about what I believe or what Judaism teaches. And there is everything. Everything, because no one knows, including those people who have had near-death experience and came back. But no one really knows what it's like after we die.
Sometimes think a lot of people don't know what life is like while they're alive. And I hope that
Absolutely.
100%.
And I hope that what Temple Beth Shalom and First Congregational United Church of Christ can do is to offer a texture of living together, being together, sharing some of the same mission. I don't like that word, but some of the outreach. How's that? Some of the same outreach endeavors, and in the process of that, life, I believe, becomes more vivid, more rich, more attuned, if you will, with the larger world.
Talking with Dr. Hal McSwain of the First Congregation United Church of Christ and Rabbi Zeev Harari from the Temple Beth Shalom. They are bringing both the synagogue and the church under one roof. It will operate as two separate religions, but they'll be under the same roof, sharing some of the same amenities of the building, but also sharing their wisdom and faith through teaching and through outreach and fellowship. It's a concept that when I heard about it, I went, what took so long? Why have we always, it just made sense to me. When I read that I was going to be interviewed, I go, well, that makes perfect sense to me that two different religions would operate side by side, because we need to be partners. We need to come together, because the way we've been doing it ain't working. We can see that by the shootings that are happening. We can see that by the wars that are going on in the world. We can see that by the poverty that we have right here in our own backyard, the homelessness. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. You two have decided you're not going to be insane. You're going to do something different to try to get a different result. And I applaud both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, and I hope to emphasize one word, and that is respect for the other. Respect for the other.
Without respect, we have lawlessness and just anarchy.
Right.
Without respect, you have nothing.
Right.
Respect and faith. That the two things we got out of this talk today was respect and faith.
Good point.
Thanks so much for both of y'all being here
for
today.
having us.
Thank you
And
for having us.
can you come back and give us an update once things get going?
You bet.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. That is Dr. Hal McSwain of the First Congregation United Church of Christ and Rabbi Zeev Harari from the Temple Beth Shalom. This is WOCA, The Source. It's Ocala Talks. We're going to take a break. Coming up after the break, it's Master Gardener, Carol Ann Baldwin. She's here, and I have this tomato that a listener gave me last night and said, you need to ask her about this tomato. There's a whole lot going on with this tomato that I need to ask her about. I'll give you that. We'll do that next. I want to thank again Dr. Hal McSwain and Rabbi Zeev Harari for being here. This is Ocala Talks, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Today in Ag News from the Southeast AgNet, USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service in Florida is investing $300,000 for Conservation Innovation Grants, otherwise known as SIG. These are for high-tempo systems that improve weather resiliency and improve degraded plant conditions. Florida State Conservationist Juan Hernandez explains why SIG is a competitive grant.
The Department of Justice on Monday night asked the Supreme Court to reinstate the death penalty for Boston Marathon bomber Jahar Tsarnaev. Tsarnaev and his brother killed 3 people and wounded hundreds of others after planting bombs near the finish line of the Boston Marathon in 2013. An appeals court last year dismissed his death sentence, finding that the judge in his 2015 trial failed to guarantee a fair jury due to extensive media coverage. The heat is going to be dangerous in the southwest United States this week. In Texas, the power grid operator has asked people to reduce electric use as much as possible until Friday. Be sure to take plenty of drinking water with you if you're traveling on the roads. USA Radio News.
UFOs are back in the news, and even the military can't explain these strange UFOs intercepting our ships and planes. Are they a sign of something real, dangerous, or even biblical? Now, Rob Schmidt takes a look at the biggest
grants will be
mystery of our
awarded to
time.
applicants matching
Rob's
funds on a
special
dollar-for-dollar
series,
basis from
UFOs,
non-federal
Are They Really
sources
Here?
that
airs
can
all
include
this
cash
week
or
on
in-kind
Newsmax.
contributions.
Tune into
Learn more
Rob
on our
Schmidt
website,
tonight on
southeastagnet.com.
Now on all major
For
cable
generations,
systems.
we've
It's
worked the
already
land.
the fourth
We've
largest
faced
cable
hardships
news
and
channel.
uncertainty
If
before.
your cable company
But you
doesn't
can
carry
depend on
Newsmax,
Florida's farmers.
call them. Tell them
We will continue to
Newsmax,
rise
or you
before
can
dawn
switch.
and harvest our
Or get
crops,
Newsmax for
ensuring
free
that
on your smart
Florida-grown
TVs,
fruits and vegetables
Roku,
are in your
Xumo,
stores
Amazon
and
Fire,
that your family
Apple
is
TV,
fed.
or more.
We are
And don't forget to
providers
download the
for
free
our
Newsmax
families
app on your
and
smartphone
yours.
and start watching now. So find out the latest on UFOs with Rob Schmidt and check out Newsmax tonight. It's real news for...
It's time for Farm and Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. Farmers are reminded to check with USDA's Risk Management Agency, RMA, about this year's federal crop insurance. Federal crop insurance is critical to the farm safety net. It helps producers and owners manage revenue risk and strengthens the rural economy. Coverage is available for all kind of products during this year. Growers are encouraged to visit their crop insurance agents soon to learn specific details. The RMA is authorizing additional flexibilities this year due to the coronavirus while continuing to support producers working through approved insurance providers to provide the service, including processing policies, claims, and agreements. The RMA staff is working with the AIPs, that is your approved insurance providers, and other customers by phone, mail, and electronic to continue supporting crop insurance coverage for producers. Farmers with crop insurance questions or needs should continue to contact their local insurance agent about conducting business remotely or by phone or by email to make it more convenient. But crop insurance is sold and delivered solely by private insurance agents, and you need to contact them about your plans for this coming year.
Hi, I'm Greg Peterson of the Peterson Farm Brothers. If you've seen our videos, you know we're proud to be farmers. Farming can be dangerous. Never assume location or depth of underground utilities or pipelines. Before you start any work on your farm, call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com to have underground lines located. It only takes a minute and can save your life.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
For more on today's news, we invite you to log on to southeastagnet.com. I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
We'll have clouds and sunshine today with a couple of thunderstorms and a high of 84 to 90. Then partly cloudy and warm this evening, low tonight 73 to 75. Cloudy on Wednesday, a couple of thunderstorms in the afternoon, high tomorrow 86 to 89. Thunderstorm Thursday afternoon as well. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need